the enemy has won. But God is releasing those who can hear his voice to go into every arena to fight. And not only to fight, to own, to ownership, to stand. Because guess what? You won't have a voice until you own. You see, the enemy wants us to become the minority. But look at the Jews. They were minorities, but they were blessed. Tell them, yes, as we become minority, we're going to have a voice and own everything. Because the weapons of our warfare, they are not carnal. See, the enemy wants us as the body to get into a physical fight. We're going to stand for God, but we ain't going to fight you in the natural. We're going to fight you in the spiritual as we act in the natural. That is why God is changing the messages, and you're going to hear it. I'm talking to you prophetically. You're going to hear the messages become more strategist, more militant, more in a way of soldierish, to come and get God's people ready. And it's going to be a point that half of the church don't really, you know God, but you form of godliness, but deny the power thereof. But it's time for you to know God in a greater way that you have never known him before. Because when he asks you to lay down certain things you don't want to lay down your life, you're going to have to know his real. You're going to have to know his real. You maybe sit down, please, and we're going to start our messages. Mr. DeMay, please write down this title. It's long. It's a very long title. But it's what he gave me. And we're going to talk to you today from Be known unto thee, O King. We will not serve thy gods. Be known unto thee, O King. We will not serve thy gods. Say it again. Be it known unto thee, O King. We will not serve thy gods. Amen. Not going to serve it. Holy Spirit, have your will and have your way in here. Speak to the heart of your people. May the word edify. May the word take us to a place that we have never been before, God. May it open up our hearts to hear and to receive. In Jesus' name, amen. We're going to go into the book of Daniel, chapter 3. And most of us heard the story about Daniel. But Daniel was a young man, young teenagers that brought up into Babylon. The first thing the enemy did was change their names. So we found out the enemy is a strategist, that the first thing he wants to do is change your identity. And I want to tell you right now, there's a lot of identity changing going on.
Yes, it is.
Been watching TV, men want to become women, men. So there's a lot of identity changing that's going on. The enemy does not change the method. Why should he change a method when it works?
Right.
Why should he change a tactics when he keep working all the time? So they brought him, changed their name, trying to change their diet, trying to change their food. And there's a lot of the enemy been fighting, even in America. Like I said, I'm not political, but that's what the Holy Spirit put in my heart. That our children, they change the food, the diet, people getting sick, diabetes, high blood pressure, all kind of things. And you thinking only in the natural, but the understanding the spiritual, because that's what he did in the time of Daniel. Yes. And Daniel said that we're not going to eat the dainty of the king, but we're going to eat as God's people eat. There's a way, meaning that he understands we are the temple, and Daniel kept himself pure from the food and the ways of Babylon. Yes. So now, we understand that at the point now we have an overweight problem that's in the land because of the way the enemy putting things. There's things in the food that's killing you while it tastes good. You dying while you eating. My God have mercy. You dying while you eating. So many things going on. And then we find out that God began to anoint Daniel. He began to anoint him with the ability to decipher dreams and to explain it. And we look at it in the midst of the enemy, in the midst of people who don't like you. God began to raise up Daniel and his 3 friends. And we look at this point now, the enemy, because God was beginning to bless Daniel in a greater way in the midst of the place where he was at. We find out the enemy came with a new strategy to get Daniel. We find out in Daniel chapter 3, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. The enemy is always trying to put up something to take your attention. He's always going to put up something to take your attention away. It could be good, it could be bad. I remember in my days growing up, we used to have 3 television stations. Now we got 400 and we can't even watch but a couple, one at a time. So the enemy is going to use things to get your attention away from God. So now we see that the enemy put up a statue of gold. And then he come up with a new idea that you're going to worship that. Now, then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurer, the counselor, the sheriff, and all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Now we find out that Paul said something very powerful, that we are not fighting against principalities and powers, rulers of darkness of this world. That's who we fighting. But we understand that this spirit is a throne spirit that's moving in high places, that rules and regulations are being made about your life that you don't even know about. Things are being put together. There are meetings. There are all kind of things that's happening, coming together to come against you, and you don't even know about it. And first of all, you find out that the first thing that the enemy told them is to worship him. That you got to come into a place that he told first the king. Most of the people that you're electing are the people that worshiping the God that's trying to kill you. Okay, nobody understand what I'm talking about. First of all, he put it up. He told them to worship it. You're going to come first and dedicate it to me. You're going to come first. The king built it up. Then all the leaders, because guess what? If they're not on the side of what's being decided by the enemy, then that means you're on his side. So we make sure now next thing you want to know, they are unified to come against you. They are unified to get you. They are unified, and this thing's coming from the top and it's going to hit the bottom. Then he says, then the princes, the governors and the captain, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors. Now, you got judges involved. You got people who got money, who count the money involved. Everybody, the counselor, the chariot, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together into the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. How many people are standing before the image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up? There is an image being set up in the land that all our leaders that we put our faith in is bowing down before that image. God have mercy. There are who is it? You better careful that who you elect at the time, because guess what's going to happen? They may be the one bowing before that image. Whose image are you bowing before? Then in Herod, first of all, now you see in verse 4, right? In verse 4, somebody got to be the messenger. Somebody got to be the announcer. Then in Herod cried out, to you it is commended. Oh, you see now they make the rules from on top. Now they bring in the rules down to the people. I'm not saying no name, but we got messengers coming to tell the people what's already been decided. We got messengers telling the people what's already been made in secret against you. was already made. And guess what? This is not a people agenda. This is a demonic agenda. This is a devilish. See, some of y'all are thinking that the devil is in the spiritual realm. But Jesus said, woe is the earth, because Satan is coming down upon the earth. And he's ruling the rulers of this world. The rulers, the principalities. He's not going to rule the guys. See, the throne spirit is not coming to the guy in the corner selling drugs. That's the unclean spirit who dealing with that. But this spirit, the throne spirit, is dealing with presidents and kings and rulers who going to make decisions to hit you. You need to understand that we are not fighting against principalities. We are fighting against principalities and powers. We're not fighting people. We're not fighting Obama or anybody else. We are fighting demonic powers behind people, masquerade as people, possessing people, bringing a demonic agenda against God's people. But the first thing, don't ever try to go for success, because success pays in the music industry, in every industry, in the political arena. There's a God that you got to bow down to. Nobody understands. Nobody understands what I'm talking about today. It may be Mason, it may be whatever it may be that you got to bow. You're going to bow to somebody if you want to go up. What is the price that you're going to have to pay for your success? What the price that you're going to have to pay to go up? Because the Bible says, what is meant for a man to gain the whole world and lose your own soul? But it meant for you to get everything. At the end of the day, you lose God. And we're not talking about your mother's religion. I'm not preaching the way, my God, you told me preach a month ago or 2 years ago. This is a different agenda, and this is a different arena, because we have to expose that we are fighting an enemy and we are in a war right now. And guess what? If you don't understand you're in a war, there's going to be what? Casualties. There's hatred, my God, moving upon the land. There's all kind of hatred and bitterness. There's people dying because of their colors. There's people dying while you trying to think about only you. But there are people all over the world suffering in Uganda and all these other places. 300 girls got taken, and this girl came back, all 300 of them pregnant. And the church saying, I'm going through. No, you're not going through anything. What you going through because you don't got no cable. But you're talking about people dying because of their race, because of their colors. We are talking about an agenda of hate and bitterness. And we're not talking just about people. And I understand that they may say this is a rambling of a crazy preacher. But guess what? That's what the enemy always says. So that people will not hear the truth. God isn't looking for just men to preach. He's looking for prophetic preachers who are going to declare what the throne room of God is saying and what we need to do as a people now. What we need to do and where we need to go and how we need to move and how we need to act. Because guess what? Because you're going to put your hope in a people that's worshiping a God that hates you. It's time now you take your eyes off the kingdom of men and put your eyes upon the kingdom of God. It's time for you to put your hope off men and put it on God. And put on and Him being the provider, the healer, the way taker of you. Too many times the church is looking towards the world to meet the needs, but we need to look back towards God and be the one say, God, we believe who and what you are. We believe in what you're going to do for us. We believe it. But in the book of Daniel, we see Daniel showed the secret that those who were plotting are the people on the top to try to get the people in the bottom. I want to hear this kind of messages. But look at this. Then now somebody is ordained as a messenger to come tell you. I'm not saying no name. But you know, one person is anointed to be the messenger. Just like God anoints a messenger to tell you His will, Satan anoints a man to tell you his plan and what he wants to do against you. Now, that, look at this. He said here, and this is not only to America, it starts there, but it's to all nations, all colors, all people, whatever that you are. Whatever color, whatever creed, don't think you're exempt. Because the decree has gone out. Old people, nations, and what? Languages. That at one time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kind of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Now, the devil is using a tool that he knows. The Bible said this, that the devil, his pipe is like organs and music and all kind of things. He was the worship leader above, my God. He was the anointed cherub of God, and all his inside had all kind of instrument. When he opened up his mouth, it's like a full orchestra. And guess what he's using now to bring you into control? Music. The very thing that he's part of. He's using the music to do what? As form of a mind control to get you to do things. When the music comes, you worship. When the music comes, you do this. And guess what? They had worshipers. I'm sorry, I'm coming there. Just like God got worship leaders, Satan got his. Of course. Yeah. You're singing to some of their songs. They're Satan's worship leaders. I don't want to go there, God. Dr. Dre and them and NWA and all these other guys, they are Satan worship leaders. Okay. Some of us know God's worship leaders, Donald Lawrence. See, everything I'm trying to tell you is this: Satan is trying to imitate, even from the structure of his kingdom, even the structure of what he does, to know, because he learned all these things from God. And he was a worship leader, and guess what he uses to control most of your children? Music. It's not just music in our days. Even there was some song in our days we didn't know. Now it got worse. What are your children bowing to? What are they listening to? Like I said to you, the message have changed. I cannot preach the same way that I used to preach before. Not only is it being filtered to music, but there's certain things, electronics, the Xbox, the kids are like zombies and it all day. Can't even think no more, can't even do anything anymore. Oh, I definitely know that you say that, oh, pastors didn't know it's control, because when we were our age, we were outside playing. But there's a type of control to the point that they get depressed if they don't have a phone in their hands. That's right. And I'm not only talking about the kids, there's some grown kids, all of us included, that we can come on.
Amen.
Talking about all of us.
Amen.
What we could have lived with years ago, we can't live with now. Because guess what? A form of control. Talking about entertainment, fashion, and all that. Because guess what? Most of y'all, you got to have a certain look to have. Guess what? Satan is controlling. Everything's being controlling. Remember the days, some of you guys now wear $200 sneakers, which was back days rent. I used to wear Buster Brown little dog. Kids want to jump up the buildings because they got to wear $50 sneakers. Can most see laughing back here? But I hear you. But we talking about there's a form of control that is going on. There's a form of control by the enemy. It's going to get good. It's going to get good. I ain't going to mess up your thing. Now look at this. Whoso falleth not down in worship should the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Now the enemy is using threat. If you won't worship, we're going to imprison you. If you're going to not worship this image, we're going to kill you. If you're not going, you see, there's a lot of people who come to church and yeah, I'm for Jesus. But the same minute they're going to tell you they're going to burn you, you're going to be up there worshiping some stuff you don't know. You got to be careful. Because now we see the strategy of the enemy in the time of Daniel. It says to Daniel, if they don't worship, this is the law and the decree. If you do not worship this idol, if you do not worship this image, guess what it is? And we're going to put you in the fire. And guess what is that true image that Satan trying to build up his own kingdom in the land? And he going to try to come against the kingdom of God. And he going to put up his image in the land. See, some of you are watching scary movies and thinking and see things moving like that. No, baby. The demons that you see them. They walk in people. They walk in things. They talk, but you don't see the spirit, the demon. Some of you are in relationship with demons you don't know. God have mercy. You're so busy looking in the spirit, but you're not looking in front of you. So busy looking, with the eerie stuff, with the scary stuff. You're not looking. There are some demons and you have some effect. There's some people around you in your atmosphere who got demons. That's why you can explain their hate and their behavior. That's why you cannot understand why they act the way they act. Why would a man hate another man? Why would a man destroy another man? Why would a man come against another man? Except something inside of him is moving him without you seeing. Say that if you don't worship him, now the enemy gonna come to the point now where it's gonna get real. If you do not worship, now your life is gonna be at stake. Can I tell you something? The enemy was worshipped so bad because to the point that he came to Jesus. He said, if you worship me, he took him into the pillar of the mountain. He said, if you worship me, I'll give you all these things, for it's been given unto me. Why does the enemy want worship? Because guess what? He's still trying to be like God. Right. In the book of Isaiah, he said, I put my throne above the throne of God. I will be like the Most High. Because now I used to worship him, but now I need to be worshipped. Be careful of wanting what other people have. Be careful of wanting worship and praise and not understanding the price that it takes to have certain things. You say, guess what? If you're not going to worship me, I'm going to put you in a fiery furnace. Now look at this, verse 7. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, psaltery, and all kind of music, all the people, somebody say all the people, all the nations, in the language, fell down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Now guess what the enemy uses to get you to worship? Fear. And this is what I was talking, my God, to Minister Present about fear. You see, why some of us worship God out of fear instead of love. You worship God because you think that you're afraid that God's going to put you in hell. So you worship him, and that means you don't really know him. Because my Bible said, I've not come to kill, but I've come so that man can be saved. He said, John 3:16 said, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So why is it the enemy is still trying to get you to, my God, fear God and say, if you don't cross every T and every I, God gonna kill you if you don't do it, because you're a bad boy. Now, you serve God out of fear instead of you serving him out of love. You try to please him out of fear. And guess what? Paul said that Satan had disguised himself as an angel of light. And maybe some of our theology is bringing us more fearful of God. Because guess what? There's more fear of God than love of God. Not knowing, when I look at the thief at the cross, he didn't do everything right in his life. But he said, Jesus, I believe that you're God. He said, today, he didn't do everything right. He didn't do everything that needed to be right. But there's power in the name of Jesus when you believe in him. Because he said, today, you should be with me in paradise. That's why church folks, when trouble comes, they run away from God. Instead of to God. Why is it you run away from God? I remember me when I was young, when I did something wrong, and I know my father was a military man. He didn't play. So instead of me running to my father, I ran away from my father. Because why? Of the punishment. Nobody understand what I'm talking about today. Maybe some of you're hurting so much you think God hates you. And that's why you stay away from him. You think God don't care about you. When you got your problem, you don't want to come to him. Maybe you've been a victim of wrong religion. Because here we see it's not God who uses fear, but it was Satan who uses fear. Say, if you don't worship me, I'm going to kill you. Then why is it that we putting a character unto Satan, unto God? Why is it that we doing that? Why is it that we doing it? When I look at the Bible, he ain't trying to kill you. He's trying to save you. But we see Satan say that if you don't worship the image, we'll kill you. Fear. And guess how many people bow down? All the people. Everybody worship the image. Everyone bow down. Be careful what you say you won't do when your life is at stake. Be careful, because all the people, when they affect your money, when they affect your livelihood, will you stand strong for God? Will you hold up for God and do the will of God? And guess what happened? They all worshiped. They all fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. But verse 8 says, wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. We see that there is a certain group of people Satan always targeted.
Yes, yes.
Why is it that Satan always targeted a certain group of people? Maybe they understand that because of who they worship. The Jews are known to worship God. So Satan is still angry at Daddy.
Yes, yes.
I can't get to Daddy, but I get to his children. Nobody understands what I'm talking about. I'm angry at my daddy. How many of y'all angry at your daddy? That's why you act up. That's why y'all do all kind of crazy. Mad at mama, mad at that auntie, mad at everybody else. And we begin to act up. Well, that's what the psychologist says. That the childhood aggression. From the time you were 3 years old and they give you a lollipop. So now you want to kill somebody. It's all right. It's all right. But Satan is angry at Daddy trying to get who? His children. Yes. So guess who he used? He didn't use no demon. He used a demon in a people, a certain people called Chaldeans. And it may be the same Chaldeans who was trying to get Nehemiah. Always targeting God's people. He moved to people to get to them. Look at this. Look at this. Daniel is giving us the demonic strategy of what the devil is doing. Using leaders and people to make laws and decree. What made them think, yo guys, the Jews? Somebody stood at the Jews, let's go get them. There's a certain people came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king, because it was known at the time the Jews served God, so they're not going to worship the image. So let's target them, because we know that they serve the living God. So certain other people probably saw they worshiping, but why they not worshiping? We have to bow. Why do they get special privileges and not bow? Because we bow. There's certain people, because they compromise, they want you to compromise. They mad because you stood strong. They mad because you stayed. They mad because you did this. They mad because they gave up so fast. They said, look, let's accuse them. And the Bible said that we know Satan is what? The accuser of the brethren. Now nobody want to hear what I'm talking to you today. We know Satan is the accuser of the brethren. When you run into accuse people, could you be working for Satan? Want to tell all the business? Could you be your part of the accuser of the brethren? Verse 9 say, they spake and said to the king, Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. We see now Satan is using flattery to reach Nebuchadnezzar, to get influence, manipulation, and control. He said, thou, O king, has made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kind of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. He said, "Oh king, you made it. You made this decree. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace." Look at this. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the prophets. See that? So now we see Satan trying to get rid of the godly people and leadership. Don't nobody want to hear. We see Satan trying to get the rest of the people, because his agenda will not go freely as long as godly people is in the land. So I got to get rid of the godly leaders who can stand up and say, no, it won't happen. So yes, they targeted not only a certain kind of people, but a certain kind of people in leadership. Nobody want to hear. Yeah. Certain kind. He said, you put them, my God, over the provinces of Babylon. Shadrach, he knew him by name. Meshach and Abednego. I'm not going there today. He said, these men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So he came up to them. He said, they're not worshiping your God. They're not worshiping your God or the golden image. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the Hebrew boys, are not worshiping the image that you put up, O king. Something wrong. We have to see Satan behind certain things. Now Satan trying to get rid of the Hebrew boys. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, then they brought these men before the king. So the king like, what? I'm being disrespected? What's going on up in here? I'm king, and I make the law, and somebody not following it. So now the king is in fury. The king is upset. How many of y'all would get upset? Well, that boy, listen, boy, we're going to take care to bring him here. Bring him here, let him know I'm king. The king spoke, and you ain't doing it. So now Nebuchadnezzar was highly upset and angry concerning this situation. He said, bring these Hebrew boys here. Bring them up in here. Now, Nebuchadnezzar speak and said, is it true? Oh, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do you not serve my gods? No, worship the golden image, which I said, you know how us people. Is that true? Your brother, is it true? You know it's true because they told you to. You got to ask them a question 2 times. Is it true? Because I got to know. Because you're crazy, is it true? So now Nebuchadnezzar wanted to know if it's true. So now it says here, now, if you be ready that at what time you hear the sound of the coming, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kind of music, you fall down and worship the image which I made. Well, but now he said, I'm giving you another chance. I don't want to kill you, but I'm giving you another chance, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you're going to do what I'm telling you to do now. Now you guys, when you hear the music, start dancing, boys. Stop worshiping and start dancing. When you hear the trumpet, Isaiah, play me some music. Stop worshiping. See, when you hear that, stop worshiping. If you don't worship, I'm going to kill you. Now, this is what he said. But if you worship now, you should be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Who is that God that should deliver you? Who is that God? The God that you worship, does he have power to deliver you out of the fire that I'm about to put you in? Now, guess what? Nebuchadnezzar made a big mistake of calling God's name into his situation. Now you put in God. Be careful when you mock God. Be careful when you come against God. Be careful what you say against God. He just might show up. Oh, God have mercy. He might just come. Okay, it got serious now. It got serious. Nebuchadnezzar, you need to understand, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. I'll put you up and I can bring you down again. Even if you don't know me as God, I give you breath. I give you strength. Be careful to say, who is that God that's going to deliver. Oh, nobody hear it. Nobody understand what I'm saying to you. He said, who is that God that can deliver thee? Oh God, he don't understand. The God that brought Moses out of Egypt, the God that brought Moses, my God, to the Red Sea, to the nostril of his breath, that he began to part the Red Sea. He don't understand the God that was come under fire. He's the God that shall deliver us. Oh God, have mercy. It doesn't matter what people do. It doesn't matter what laws that's changed or decree that is made, that it doesn't take away from the power of God or the identity of God and what God can do. God is still God regardless of what's going on. God got all power. God got all ability. He's the God that created the universe. He's the God that said there was light. My God, let there be light, and there was light. He's the God that separated the firmaments and separated all, called the animals, called everything into being. He's the God that created, oh God, the heavens of heavens. He's the God that created the stars of the stars. He is the God that shall deliver me. He is the God that brought the children of Israel 40 years out of the wilderness, took care of them, blessed them, oh God, healed them, brought the quails where there shouldn't be no quails. My God made ways out of no ways. He's the God that shall deliver me. And I'm coming to somebody this afternoon. When the enemy come and say, who's going to bring you out? You got no money, you got no car. Tell them God is God, and God did it before, and God will bring me out. God, Nebuchadnezzar, you need to understand that God has got served, got power. The God that I serve got ability. There's nothing that he cannot do. There's nothing, there's no thing, oh God. If I died, there was a man called Lazarus. He died, and God resurrected him up again. My God is a God of resurrection. My God is a God of power. It doesn't matter if it's dead. He can raise it up again. So Nebuchadnezzar, he is the God that can deliver me. He's the God that can set me free. He's the God that can make me whole. You see, the thing about it, you need to come back to understand it's not the devil that got power. It is God that got all power. God, some CTH. Once I heard it, twice I heard the echo. That power belongs to God. Nobody will hear it, but power belongs to my God. God all power. Just because you made a decree, it doesn't mean God ain't God. God is so much God that he can allow you to make it. God has so much power that he can allow you to make a rule and decree, because God is so wise and so, my God, in his wisdom, that he don't want to take some of you out. When time comes, he going to take everybody. Oh God, nobody want to hear me. Nobody want to hear me. But you got to understand, the enemy wants to say that this message is about hate. It's not about hate. It's about, my God, whose side do you belong to? God have mercy. Are you going to be on God's side? Are you going to be on the enemy's side? You have to understand, this is a time for the church to understand that it's no time to straddle the fence. It's either he's God. It's either you believe what he said. And I tell people this, I don't have an opinion. I don't have one. I just agree to the one I believe. I just agree to what my God says. Does it mean you hate people? No. Because that's an oxymoron. How can I be from a God of love and hate? But I agree with what my God says. I hate what he hates, and I love what he loves. Amen. The enemy wants to make everything to be about a compromise. Oh, it's hate. No, it's not. It's about this. That if the enemy can make one law to affect one thing, what other thing will he try to affect? All this that he made the laws concerning Daniel was to get at God. Because he's angry at God. Upset at God. But look at what verse 17 says. 16 says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Look at this. Daniel and them, they didn't have a problem answering. If you as a believer have a problem answering, then something is wrong. Daniel said, oh, I don't got to think about this. I don't got to think about what you just told me. If y'all got to think about it, something is wrong. I don't got to think about it. I don't got to think about nothing that you just told me. You just threatened me that you're going to kill me for the worship. But, oh, king, let me tell you something. I don't got to think about it. Matter of fact, let me tell you my answer right now. In verse 18 saying, this is where my text come from. But if not, right? But if not what? If God don't take me out. If God don't save me, it doesn't mean he ain't God. If God don't heal me, it doesn't mean he ain't a healer.
That's right.
If he doesn't deliver me, it doesn't mean he's not a deliverer. Oh, nobody understand. Well, he says not. No doubt about it. No doubt. I so believe in God that nothing can change my mind about him. Not my sins, not my life, not what I'm going through, not what I'm persevering, not what I'm waiting for. He said, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. God is raising a bold people in this generation that's going to say, it don't matter if God bring me out or not, I'm not going to bow down and worship. If God don't deliver me, he's still God. If God don't bring me out, he's still God. You see the thing about it, some of y'all think God is God because he brought you out. But I'm telling you this, that God don't have to bring you out to be God. It's good that God can bring me out. But there's something when God is in it with you. He didn't bring me out, but he's in there with me. He didn't bring me out, but he's fighting with me. He didn't make a way no more. There is a point where God begins to change you so much that the situation you in no longer is a problem because God is in it with me. And I learned to worship him as if I got what I wanted. Nobody understands it. I'm talking about having a reality of God. I'm talking about my God. And I know some church people, you think God is God because he blessed you. What if you still waiting on God to bless you? That's why the book of Romans said, nay, we are more than conquerors. We are more than hyper Nike, super Nike, meaning this, I'm acting I still got it when I don't have it yet. I'm acting like I'm blessed and I don't got no money yet. I'm acting like I'm healed, but I ain't seen my healing yet. I am more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. Nobody understand what I'm talking about. That's why some of you are depressed because you probably waiting on God. But God said, I'm already here, but you don't see me. You waiting on God to bless you to do this. But God said, the Bible said, the God in the midst of you is mighty. He's mighty. Oh, Zephaniah, begin to talk about it. Maybe if you open up your eyes, you begin to see God. That God been with you all along, but you just didn't recognize him. Because the thing about it, why is it that you survive some things and some other people can't? That you depressed, but look, God, you didn't jump off the bridge yet because God is in it with you. So Daniel said this, it does not matter if God bring me out or not. God is still God all by himself. Somebody put your hands together and praise him. Now we see then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury. He was more upset than anything else. In the form of his visions was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was want to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. They started saying, they called the police to come get you, to put you in the furnace, put you in a trial, to put you in a situation. Then these men were bound in their coats. They bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the coat, right? They tied them up in their coat, roped them up, their hosen and their hats and their other garments, and were cast in the midst of the burning furnace. How many of you are willing to go through for the sake of God? How many of you are willing to go to the fire furnace? See, the thing is, it's okay to worship when it don't cost you nothing. It's okay to praise Him and come to church when it don't cost you nothing. But I thank God that this is a time where we're going to see who's real and who's not real. Are you just a Sunday goer or somebody just say who go to church? But are you willing to live this thing that you profess? Are you willing to really come in and be a soldier of the kingdom and say, God, whatever happened to me, I'm going to serve you and I'm going to do your will, oh God. I'm going to do what you call me to be. This thing has become real. It is real now. Can't have the Sunday service, oh God, it's all about me. So what? Can I tell you something? There are some times that you serve God and you go through. You can serve God and be going to hell, but you come up every time and you worship anyhow. The thing that some of y'all think that just because you serve God, everything is supposed to be easy. No. Jesus said that in this world you're going to have trouble, but I'm going to give you the victory. Fear not. Hope in God. You're going to go through in this world, but guess what? I'm going to come out. We see in the book of Acts, the church was persecuted, but it grew more. The church was going through, but mighty preachers came out of the church. Mighty deliverers came out of the church. There's something about persecution and trials that bring people together. Something about when we go through that bring people together.